Hey, this is Glenn from Mr. 2 Tech, and this is iPhone 10.
I've been into the whole Apple ecosystem for a long time, and I'll be honest, I've invested heavily into it. That's not to say it's perfect though, far from it. It can be frustrating and downright irritating on times, but for the most, it suits my daily workflow. That and the rest of my family and friends mostly have iPhones, which I guess is the main reason most people buy into Apple's family of products in the first place. This new model though is a revelation in terms of its dynamics. The new swipe-driven OS is all new to Apple. It may not be new to other brands, but the likes of BlackBerry used it quite successfully in its Z10, Z20 and Q10 models, all of which I quite liked, sort of. The iPhone 10 though, that's taken things up a notch. See what I did there? No? Okay. This phone is slick and well executed, as you'd expect an Apple product to be. But this time, I don't know, there's just something a bit special about this one. A friend asked me to describe it the other day, and the only thing I could liken it to was a piece of fine jewellery. It really is that beautiful. You can definitely see where Apple got their design cues from. For me, it reminds me of the 3GS, which I still consider to be one of the most beautiful electronic devices ever. Until now.
Enough of that sentimental rubbish. Let's get to the elephant in the room. That notch.
The iPhone X's new OLED screen has a resolution of 2436 by 1125, and doing the math, that gives you a pixel density of 458 ppi. But the top of the screen, as you're no doubt aware by now, has that cutout that houses the, and you'll excuse me while I take a deep breath, infrared camera, flood illuminator, proximity sensor, ambient light sensor, speaker, microphone, front camera and dot projector. Say what? Apple have managed to cram so much tech into that minuscule space. It really is an amazing feat of micro-engineering. And I think people forget that, so I for one, I've embraced the notch. That'd be a good t-shirt slogan. I've embraced the notch. Yeah, maybe not. In all honesty, I only had to use the phone for around an hour and I totally forgot it was there. It was only when you use an unoptimized app that it disappears and you revert back to the large bezels that the previous generations of iPhone have. And it was then that I realised just how much I enjoyed the new screen layout, notch and all. Look, if Apple had made it all screen, I'm pretty sure there would have been something else for people to gripe about. The other main question I've been asked is, what about the lack of home button? Well, if you've used any kind of Android phone in the last few years, you'll be right at home. If not, it doesn't take long. Play around with the various gestures and you get acquainted, after which muscle memory takes over and going back to a previous generation of iPhone is pretty weird. You keep trying to swipe up from the home button. The older model feels just that, old. Tap to wake is now a thing on an iPhone. As the phone is now equipped with that Samsung sourced OLED panel, it's able to take advantage of tap to wake. And it really works well. Only the lightest tap is needed to wake up the screen. The side button, as it's now known, can obviously be used, but it's just so convenient to tap the screen, swipe up while lifting the phone into view, which brings us nicely to Face ID. If there was any tech that I figured was going to let the phone down, it was going to be this, or so I thought. In reality, I couldn't have been more wrong. Face ID literally takes seconds to set up. It's just a matter of waggling your head around a couple of times, and that's it. From there on in, it's pretty much like the phone doesn't have any security of the lock screen. It even recognised me with or without glasses and after having my haircut. By the time you've lifted the phone to view the screen, the unlock logo is there and it's just a matter of swiping up to get your apps. It's so fast in fact that it takes a little getting used to. You tend to pause when you don't need to. Bravo Apple! There are a few more gestures you need to become accustomed to. Swipe down on the top right of the screen to activate the control center, and the same swipe on the top left to access your notifications. Oh yeah, notifications. Do us all a favour, Apple. Take a look at the elegant way in which Android Oreo deals with notifications and just do it like that. Grouped notifications. Got it? Good. I'll expect a revamped notification system in iOS 12. Thank you. Where was I? Oh yeah, gestures. There are a few really convenient ones. My favourite one is the one you use to access your last used app. Simply swipe left to right across the bottom of the screen, and voila, Reachability is still there too. It needs to be activated in the settings as it's turned off by default, but it's so much easier than double tapping on the home button. On my iPhone 7 Plus, it was a really hit and miss affair, but now it works every single time. I'm a firm believer in the fact that you can have the most powerful processor with the most amount of RAM and the most efficient graphics subsystem, but if the software's flaky, the hardware's worthless. And at the moment, I personally feel there are certain aspects of iOS that make the iPhone experience in general not as good as it could be. Notifications. Don't get me wrong here, I'm being hypercritical, like the position of the signal and Wi-Fi on the home screen. But I believe that when you're paying £1,000 for a phone, it shouldn't have any issues. Having said that, it's only a matter of time before those minor issues are laid to rest by Apple's updates. iOS 11.2 is already in Beta 2, and as of last night, 11.1.1 was the latest version, which has dramatically improved the battery life already. Okay, let's be honest here. When it comes to hardware, Apple don't make bad equipment, and the iPhone X is no exception. The fit and finish is exceptional. It really has a nice weight in the hand, and the way the screen simply melts into the highly polished stainless steel band around the outer edge of the phone really makes you feel like you're holding something quite special. And that screen, wow. The screen is simply excellent, bright and contrasty, deep blacks, as an OLED should be. It's good alright, but $1,000 are good alright? Yeah, that's another question. This is, without doubt, the best phone Apple have ever made. Is it the best phone out there though? In my personal opinion, I would say no. It's right up there, but with manufacturers like Google, HTC, Samsung, Huawei and LG, the competition is really fierce right now. Don't forget, the iPhone 8 is still a great phone if you're willing to upgrade, especially from an iPhone 6, and it can be had for $300 cheaper. Having said that, the iPhone X is the phone in my pocket at the moment.
Please take the time to like and subscribe to my channel. Really helps me out. I've been Glenn from Mr. 2Tech, and I'll see you in the next video.